something crosses the road. It's skeletal like, fleshy, and it stands up, and then it like kind of just almost like leaps.
They look back and they see one. Clear as day. It walked 5 feet away from my audio recorder. We just saw a Bigfoot. Holy crap.
I've been pinched, I've been tapped on the shoulder, I've had my name hollered, a hand came up underneath my left arm. I said, little son of a bitch tried to get me. That was the time that I decided you don't sleep inside that building.
Did you see that?
The cow cur, it's big, it's white, and it runs faster than any man could ever run. And it would lean out behind the tree. And that's why we never go out. Because the booger will get you.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Exploring the Unknown. I am Dustin, and today I'm here with Ryan. What's going on, Ryan?
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for taking the time out to come on and chat with us. So Luke had reached out to you through Reddit, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So he kind of gave me a little bit of the story, but he didn't tell me too much. You had witnessed a possible UFO, is that correct?
You know, it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. It was definitely unidentified for sure. Like, I don't know what that thing was, but I know I wasn't supposed to see it for sure. So, yeah, it could have been a UFO. Could have been one of our secret space program. I don't know what it was.
That's wild, man. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that. You know, what had happened?
Okay. Well, I'll start off by saying in that same general area where I had the sighting, prior to that, in the like weeks and months leading up to that, I noticed, if anybody here is familiar with Houston, Texas, it's the area in between the Grand Parkway and 290, like this kind of a rural, like between Cypress and Hempstead. I noticed these contrails would be going directly up, and it's weird. You usually see contrails or chemtrails. You know, there are chemtrails, but this was contrails, and it was going up. Usually, you see them going horizontal. Well, these would always be going up, and I always thought, what are they launching out here? That's not normal. Like they're launching something. I don't know. So that was what I would notice in that area prior to. And then the day of, I was driving from College Station, Texas, which is about an hour, 45 minutes northwest of Houston. I was going back to Houston because that's where I'm originally from. And in that area, it was a real hazy day, real cloudy, real hazy. Lots of, it was in the middle of the day, probably mid-afternoon on a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. And it's real cloudy, real hazy, a lot of humidity. And I don't know how I noticed this thing, but just like way off in the distance, I caught this little speck, this little white tic-tac looking thing so far in front of us. Like I can only imagine whoever that was had no worries about being seen. But I mean, for some reason I was able to catch it. And as it was going across the sky, I was thinking to myself, I wasn't thinking anything too crazy yet. I was just thinking to myself, oh well, that's a very interesting craft. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder what kind of propulsion. Is that a jet or is that a propeller? And then all of a sudden, as I'm thinking that in my mind, dude, I'll go to my grave knowing that I saw this. Like in Star Wars, you know, the lightsabers, you know, they got, when they turn on and they go woo, like that. Well,
Yeah.
this purple beam, vertical purple beam, just appears like this, neon, like iridescent, glowing purple beam just appears like this in front of this thing's flight path. And as this thing flies into it, it disappears. Like you can see it, the front, and then like the whole thing just disappears. And then the beam contracts and it's gone. And I'm just like, what in the world was that? You know? And to this day, I don't have an explanation for that.
That's wild. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so like the craft flew into the beam. It's not like the beam came down to the craft.
No, it appeared in its flight path, so it just got in front of it, and then the craft flew into it and disappeared.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Now, when you say it contracts, what it like it like went this way, went up, went down?
So it started out vertical like this, and then when
Hmm.
it was done, it went away the same way it came, just back into itself, gone.
Oh wow! And you
Yeah,
said it was purple.
it was purple. Yeah, it was like neon, like glowing kind of purple, like lightsaber type of purple. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like how
that
lightsabers look, like kind of like that.
that's wild.
I almost had to pull over. Like I was so like shocked. I had my family with me. They didn't see it because it was so far off. But I about almost had to pull over. I was just like, hold on, y'all didn't see that? Like, man, because yeah, I was the only one paying attention to anything. They were doing their own thing in the truck. But man, I know what I saw, and since then, like on Twitter, I saw a couple of pictures of something that kind of was similar, and I saved those photos, but that was years ago, and I tried finding them for the show, but I couldn't find them. But yeah, there's something going on with that appearance out there. I don't know if it's us, if it's someone else, or what it is, but when I first saw it, my first thought was maybe that's some secret space force stuff. Like, we got technology the general public is aware of right now, but
Hmm.
like the real technology that's really out there is like
Yeah,
maybe hundreds of years ahead of its time. I don't know. You know, God only knows.
yeah. Now, did you like get on Facebook? Did you ask anybody if anybody else has seen it or do any research in that area?
No, I didn't because like I said, the thing was so far away that whatever was going on up there, they weren't worried about people seeing because it was such a cloudy, hazy day, and I guess I caught it through the right, pocket of cloud or whatever, and just I don't think anybody else on the road that was with me that day would have seen it. I just noticed things like that. I noticed small things, out of place things real easily, and then when I saw that floating through the sky, it's just the way it floated to me. Like that's what caught me. It was like a blimp or like some kind of just the way it effortlessly floated. Like that's why I was thinking that's a very interesting craft because the way it was floating and it was so far away, it just looked like a little white tic tac to me. That's all it looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of different sightings, that explain a tic tac shaped craft. So, I mean, it's definitely possible. Before you had this experience, I mean, what were your thoughts on that topic?
It kind of changed my whole worldview. Like it kind of changed my whole worldview. I started looking at things in a different well, like I'm a Christian, like I believe that I believe that the demonic realm, like aliens, could be demons. I believe
Hmm.
that there's going to be a great end time deception where they're going to use a simulated alien invasion to deceive humanity. Like that's just kind of. But I never really looked into any of that stuff until I saw this. Before then, I was just like I wasn't even really paying attention to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it changed my whole worldview. Like my whole way of thinking the world is like if that's possible and no one knows about it, what else is going on? That's kind of what I was
Right.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you. So, I mean, since then, have you had any other experiences? You keep your eye out on the sky a little bit more?
Uh, Honestly, nothing like that. No, nothing. That was a once in a lifetime, just wow moment for me.
Yeah.
So, but also, prior to that, not maybe not so much supernatural, but definitely some stuff I wasn't supposed to see. I think I sent you guys a video of it earlier. This is about the same time I saw this sighting. I took a video in my backyard of this airplane that was dumping something out of it, and then it just stopped spraying for a little bit, and then it started
Hmm.
spraying again. It started spraying again, and I got it all on camera, so no one can tell me, "Oh, those are just contrails." They're not because the dude stopped spraying, then he started spraying again, and so like that's about the only other wild thing that I've seen in the sky like that. But
Yeah. Yeah. You had mentioned that you don't think that you were meant to see that. Why is that?
well, I mean, that's the kind of thing that would freak a lot of people out. Like if I was in charge of whatever that was, I wouldn't want other people seeing it because that's the kind of thing that could cause a big civil disturbance if it were to happen like in front of a bunch of people. Like people would be wanting answers. Like it was just wild. It was really crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
because
that is
nothing, you're not
wild.
supposed to disappear. Like some things don't just poof and disappear. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like that doesn't happen. Like I don't know of anything that just you can make poof and disappear like that. You know, you go through a
Right.
portal or whatever. That must have been some kind of portal to some kind of other dimension or something. I'm telling you, it could be a number of different things. I don't want to speculate. I just know what I saw was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I mean, I would love to have some kind of experience like that. I'm on the fence with these kinds of things. I mean, that's why me and Luke do the podcast. I mean, he's probably more on one side of the fence than I am, but I'm the kind of person that I got to get hardcore evidence in order for me to believe that it's actually out there. Like I feel like it's out there, but I've never had that experience that really made me go, yeah, okay, yeah, this stuff's out there.
Yeah. Well, um, I guess to my answer to that would be just like in the Bible it says without faith it's impossible to please God. Just because you can't see a thing doesn't mean that a thing isn't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. So
That's
I think that there was some Pentagon official that came out recently and said, what did he say? He said that they've come to the conclusion that aliens, quote unquote, were like interdimensional,
mhm.
and that they were yeah. So you can look that up. I don't want to go too much into that, but yeah. So I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on with the Pentagon. They want to release all these UFO documents, and I don't know if this is like a cover up for or distraction, or if it really is them being transparent.
Right.
I highly doubt that part. I'm sure that this kind of some kind of distraction for that, but
Yeah.
they're opening up about it, which is interesting.
It is interesting. I believe that, they have their reasons for why they do things. It could be a distraction. It could be, preparation for something, even more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. That's wild, man. So, okay, man. I wish Luke was able to join this because this is such an amazing, encounter. I'm sure that he'd have some really great questions.
Well,
Hmm.
I'll start. I guess I'll support my testimony with that I'm a instrumentation controls technician. I'm credible. I don't just see anything and think it's something worth gawking over. This was something that I have never seen before, and I don't think know anyone else that has. And most people when I tell them this, the people that do know me believe me, but the people that don't know me, that there's no way they could believe me. They just have a
Yeah.
hard time with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I get that. We kind of run into that, a lot in the community. It just depends on the kind of people that you talk to. You know what I mean? Different.
yeah.
Everybody has their own perspective on things. Um, but that's wild, man. So, I mean, okay, this question is a little off topic because I am kind of curious because we kind of dabble in the world of like ghosts and aliens and things like that. But Bigfoot is also one of our topics. But I'm curious, what's your thoughts on Bigfoot?
I'll tell you what. I do have some friends and my ex-wife and a relative of mine both have given me some pretty chilling encounters with something that they believe to be that. Uh, like one time, my ex-wife said she was with her brother when they were teenagers, and they lived in the wooded area in northwest of Houston, and they were out, and they said that they heard this woman screaming like real loud, and they both came back to the living. They lived in a little mobile home, so they came back to the living room of this mobile home, and they were just white faced, and like they said that's what they saw, and they wouldn't go near the windows. Like they wanted to sit in the middle of the living room. They didn't. They wanted the windows shut and no one go near them. Like they were shaking. And the next morning they came out and like there was this one trash can that was all shredded up. And I think they've said they found a couple of little animals that were shredded up too. And I was like, "You sure that wasn't a mountain lion?" And they said, "No, a mountain lion wouldn't look like this." So, and I got another friend who he listens to these Bigfoot podcasts all the time. Uh, he says he saw a couple of them in Franklin, Texas, which is about an hour, 2 hours north of Houston, kind of in very rural areas. So I don't discount it. I really don't discount it. I know a lot of credible people that have actually seen something like that. Me myself, not that I can think of. No personal experiences.
Yeah. Would you like to have one?
I don't know, man. Them things look pretty scary. You know,
Yeah,
maybe if I was
I'm
in
right
my
there
car
with you.
driving, if I was in my car driving, I could get away quick. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'd like to witness one at a distance. I've talked to some people that had some pretty close encounters. I think the closest one was 5 feet. This guy was in his truck. Fortunately, he was in his truck. If I was outside the truck, that'd be a different story. But this Bigfoot crossed right in front of him. He was a truck driver. He drove a Mack truck. He said that this thing stood at least three or 4 feet just above the hood of his truck. I thought that's insane.
Wow. Yeah, you're not winning a fist fight with that guy.
Yeah, I'm good.
I
Oh
heard
man.
they stink too. Like I heard they smell like rotten eggs or something like that.
Yeah, I
Like,
heard they do have a very distinct smell, like wet dog mixed with roadkill or something. I don't even know. It's not very appealing.
yeah. That kind of reminds
Yeah.
me. One of the stories that my cousins, my relative, told me was over there in the woods. They said that it got to a point where these creatures would be hiding in the tree line in the woods, and like someone's little girl or something would be playing in the backyard outside, and they got to a point where they were smart enough to like you know motion them to come over.
Lure 'em in.
Yeah, and,
Oh,
and I was like, dang, man, I hope you're wrong about that. But that's what he said. I can't verify.
yeah. I've heard a lot of stories about Sasquatch like trying to lure children or things like that, mimicking. They'll mimic like laughter and stuff like that. From what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other encounters or any maybe any paranormal ghost encounters or
Yeah.
anything like that you'd like to
Yes.
share with us?
Yes. So it all ties into spiritual stuff, but I have been in contact. Like I've seen demons face to face. Like for example, there was one. The worst one was when I was with my ex-wife, and we had a history of addiction. Like we were on pills or whatever, and we decided we're gonna get clean. When we got clean and we started living for the Lord. So that's what we did, and we went on vacation to South Carolina, and the whole way there, I just kept getting these thoughts in my head about a car wreck for some reason, and I just kept shaking it off, shaking it off. And when we got to the beach, we're walking down the beach, and we stopped and we looked at the ocean and said, "Wow, this is what we really needed." And then we looked down, and between us, someone had written in the sand, "God is always with you." Like just so happened to be right where we stopped. And so I said, "Okay, well that's pretty cool." Well, that was good to know because later that evening, I go to bed in our hotel room, and that feeling you get when you're being watched, like you know that feeling. Uh, I had my back to this nightstand, and there was nothing on the nightstand, no clocks, no phones, nothing that could light up at all. And I had my back to this nightstand, and I just felt like I was being watched. And I flipped around, I turned over, and I looked at this thing, and I hand to God, this nightstand had glowing red eyes like this, and it was looking directly at me. And when I made eye contact with it, it disappeared. The eyes disappeared. Well, about maybe 2 3 hours later, when we woke up that next morning to go do whatever it was, we got in a really nasty car wreck, like one of the nastiest. I'm surprised nobody got killed. Like it was a real nasty car wreck, and it was caused by something inexplicable that you just it wasn't your average car wreck, and definitely had some kind of paranormal, supernatural influence to it, because all the stuff I saw previous, and then that, and then the ex-wife had a dream we would get in a car wreck. I had a feeling we was going to get in a car wreck, and there was just something going on with that. And I've seen angels too. Like I was on my knees praying one night, and I was praying real fervently, real hard about something. Don't remember what it was. And when I went to bed that night, I had the door closed and I had my eyes closed, and I saw this flash of light, like the bright flash of light, with my eyes closed, like through my eyelids. And I thought someone was taking a picture of me, like flash photography picture of me. And so I woke
Hmm.
up, and there was nobody in the room. And it was the night before I had this job interview, and that next day I got the job interview. So also, I'll tell you the best one. I'll tell you the best one. Uh, One day I was at work, and we were working on something. I work at a power plant, and something happened, and everyone started running. Well, when I started running with them, somebody clipped the back of my shoe, and I fell, and I hit my shoulder, and I thought the whole place was going to blow up. So I got up in a panic, and I fell, and I hit my shoulder again. Well, I ended up having shoulder problems for like 4 years after that. Couldn't even sleep on it at all. And one night I'm at church, and the pastor says, if anybody wants to get healed for a shoulder injury, I just feel shoulder injury. Someone come up here with shoulder injury. So I went up there. It's clicking, it's hurting. And before anybody puts hands on me and prays over me, the shoulder is healed. It's 100% to this day, it's healed. And that next morning, I'm walking to the store, and on my way back, this kid has his car broken down. And he asked me, sir, can you help me push this car up the hill? And I'm like, well, there's no way I could do this if my shoulder was hurt. So let's see if this thing really is healed. So I said, sure. And I pushed that car up that hill, and I just gave the glory to God, and I told him, and then he goes, oh, sorry, sir, I didn't realize there's nothing wrong with my car after all. And I was like, it's okay. I gave the glory to God. I told him what Jesus did about healing my shoulder, and that's I guess that's what I want to get across to most is Jesus can heal. He heals, and he rewards faith, and he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. And that's what I got. There's a lot of supernatural power in Jesus. People want to go and dabble in the occult. They want to go and they want to see psychics or whatever. Uh, there is real power in the occult. Yes, that's real power you're messing with, but that's not the power you want. That's gonna come back around and not be good for you. The real power is in Jesus Christ. He's the ultimate power. And if you really want supernatural power, go to the one who created it. And that's what I got to say about that.
Yeah. Oh, you're kind of cutting out. You still there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Kind of, sort of. It's cutting in and out real bad. I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay.
Oh, there we
right.
go. There we go. I live out in the sticks, so I don't have the best internet.
It's all right.
Yeah, man. I love that. That's something that Luke and I can't so much speak on his behalf, but I know that he's mentioned this a couple of times since we started the podcast, and that's looking for what it is that we need to believe in, or because there's so many different things, right? And I wasn't one that was really raised in the church, so it's hard for me to really just dive in because it feels uncomfortable. Not to shed bad light or anything like that, but it's just I don't know how to overcome that, and it sucks because it's like I know that could probably help me.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I understand where you're coming from. The religious structure of this world has really corrupted the word of God. It's more about having a relationship than it is obeying a set of rules and standards. And if anybody wants to judge you for not obeying a set of rules or standards, they can judge themselves. Whatever you do between you and the Lord. So Jesus didn't like religious people. He didn't like the religious system, and they killed him for it. He rose again on the third day. But yeah, he was the religious structure of this world is what got Jesus crucified. And Jesus would walk around calling these religious people names like hypocrite, snake, viper, He would flip tables and chase them out of the temple with a whip and tell them that they turned his house into a den of thieves. So if it's the corruption of the church and the way people act in the church that's kind of got you feeling that way, I understand. Just understand that even Jesus felt that same way. He didn't like it either. So
Yeah.
yeah, he was at
Okay.
odds with them all the time. So, but yeah,
I appreciate that.
yes, sir. So, I mean, I understand that a lot of people they got a bad taste in their mouth from something they experienced at church, and just know even the Bible says that people that are in charge that run churches they'll be held to double accountability, whether that be good or bad. They're held to double accountability, and if they misuse their position, they'll pay for it. So,
Right. Right. Okay.
yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I know we're coming up on our time, but first I want to thank you for taking the time out to do this and sharing your stories and experiences with us. But there is something that we usually do at the end of our podcast, which is I use ChatGPT to kind of form a would you rather question that's kind of paranormal themed or Bigfoot themed. Would you like to participate in it?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, would you rather come face to face with undeniable proof that Bigfoot exists, but no one believes you no matter how much evidence you have, or be abducted by aliens, shown the secrets of the universe, but when returned, you forget everything except the overwhelming feeling that something is watching you?
Man, that's easy. I'll take the Bigfoot info easily. No question.
Why is that?
Well, because the secrets of the universe are already in the Bible, so I've already got access to those. Also, I don't want to be abducted. Like, no, I'd rather not be abducted. I like it where I'm at right now, just fine.
I agree with you. I'm afraid my thing is I'm afraid they won't bring me back.
Exactly. You never know.
Right. Oh man. Well, hey, thank you so much, Ryan, for coming on. We really appreciate it. If you ever want to come back on and share more experiences with us, you're more than welcome to. You have our email address. Just reach out anytime. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Ryan. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye. Oh wow, that's a wild experience. I couldn't imagine, man, seeing something like that shouldn't exist. We get told as we're growing up that these things shouldn't exist, and then whenever you witness something like that, it's just mind blowing. It's just mind blowing. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for listening to another episode of Exploring the Unknown. If you haven't yet, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, that little bell icon. I'm tripping over my words. Luke, it's weird without you here, dude. Like it's a back and forth, and right now it's just me talking to myself. So yeah, if you guys had an experience, please reach out to us through our Facebook page, our website, exploringtheunknownpod.com, or you can hit us up on our email, exploringtheunknownpod@outlook.com. Yeah, you can even send us a voice memo if you want. Just you kind of explaining your experience, where you're from, what your name is, or you can keep it anonymous, whatever you got to do to, make you feel comfortable. But yeah, this concludes this week's episode, and keep an eye out for the next episode, and we'll chat with you later. All right, guys. Bye.